What's up everybody, Mike from Street Speed here. Really happy today to be able to bring you this review of this awesome car. Someone was nice enough to let me borrow their 2003 Mustang GT Supercharged. That's pretty cool, I'm excited about that. But anyway, so this is a 2003 Mustang GT. As you can see, it is clearly not stock. He's got the rear window louvers back there, also on the back window as well. FR 500 wheels, and I really like what he did with the front end here. It's got a Roush bumper on it, and a GT 500 KR style hood with these new lights that he has, these aftermarket halo lights, and it really makes the car look a lot more modern and less outdated, and looks really mean from the front. That is my favorite angle of this car, definitely. That looks really cool, and I love the functional vents and everything on the hood. That just looks awesome. But anyway, moving around to the back here, you got a little gas cap that's aftermarket, and you can see the exhaust here. These are SLP loudmouths, and he has the blackout panel on the back between the lights. Funny thing about this generation of Mustang, I actually think the lights of this look similar to a 2015 Mustang. But anyway, overall, you know, this is a build. This is his daily driver, just a build over time, and it looks really good. It looks nice and mean in this gray color, and I think he did a really good job of putting this mod together and bringing it all together to make a really cool car. So anyway, with that being said, let's move on to the interior. All right, so sitting in the interior of this 2003 Mustang GT, well, the mods don't stop on the exterior. So also inside here, this is normally just a gray panel, and actually this whole thing you can see is kind of like a silver aluminum color. That's usually black, just like the rest of the dashboard. Of course, aftermarket head unit and everything. And this shifter, this has a built Mach 1 transmission in it, rather, and that looks pretty cool. It isn't automatic, but it definitely looks like a manual at first glance. You got that little Mustang script writing up there on the dash. That's pretty standard. And then he's got these chrome surrounds in the gauge cluster, if you can see it there, and also just some little accent pieces that set the car off, just like this e-brake handle here. And of course, you can see out the back the rear window louvers. But anyway, you know, sitting in the interior, it's not a bad place to be. The one thing I don't like about these cars is that the seats are always too low. Like, I'm 5'8", and even if I put the seat up the whole way, the headrest, like, it doesn't offer any support for your head if you were to get in any type of accident. But, you know, that's old school and it's 2003, so you can't really complain about that. But, you know, the seats don't offer a whole lot of support either for performance driving. You know, they're pretty much just like you'd slide right off of them, especially in leather. But they do feel, that being said, you know, they don't offer a lot of support, but they do feel really comfortable. Like, Mustangs were always a car that you could take on a long trip and be comfortable, not a big deal. You know, it doesn't matter how many miles you drive. Just should be more supportive for performance driving, but definitely a good balance of a Grand Tourer and the kind of car a Mustang really is. Also, the steering wheel here, you know, nothing special. This is kind of in a time before any of the steering wheels had the nice grips here, a 9 and 3, but it's a good feeling wheel. Definitely has a nice material to it. It's not like hard plastic or anything. It has a relatively soft touch, so that's good. But yeah, anyway, I mean, the interior of this car looks really good. I like the mods in here as well. I think it ties it together well. And, you know, what can you say about a 2003 basically all American products? You know, it's just a ton of plastic, really. Everything in here is plastic. You know, the door panels feel a little bit cheap, of course, and they're like falling apart, but this car is also 12 years old too, so you know, but it's not like it's bad or anything. This is just what you would expect from a 2003 American car product, or even, you know, even some of the other brands that are synonymous with really high quality were a lot cheaper back then. But anyway, it feels good. It's a nice place to be. So with that being said, let's start it up and go for a drive. Alright, so setting off in this 2003 Mustang GT, I had to get a crash course in learning how to operate this transmission, because it's a little fun. It's not just like normal where you put it and slide it back into drive or anything. It's like a whole system. But anyway, you know, setting off in this, these are just like all Mustangs are. They're really comfortable to drive. They just feel really good. Like, they're really comfortable and everything. And I'll put the window up so we get good audio here. But, you know, they're just always a good car to drive, and the ride quality always amazes me because it is pretty good even with a live rear axle. But anyway, well, that was pretty violent, so this thing definitely is not to be fucked with. I mean, this car just rolling around, the shifts are hard and very firm, of course, and, you know, it definitely feels very fast. You can hear the boost starting to come on around 2000, where you can start to hear that supercharger whistle. I mean, it is something. I mean, this thing is an animal for sure, and as soon as we get on a little back road here, we'll wind it out. But you know, it just feels really good to drive. It doesn't feel bad at all. Again, this is a little bit of an older car. This is like 12 or 13 years old now. The brakes, of course, could be better, a little bit spongy on the pedal feel, but that's kind of a Mustang thing as well. But anyway, you know, it does feel really good to drive. The steering is pretty good, not nearly as loose as you might think for an older car. Although the owner has informed me that he has parts that are going to tighten up the steering, as well as subframe connectors and everything, as soon as he gets to that part of having a garage lift and everything, that he's going to install, which should help to really tighten her up. They are a little bit loose, and you know, the frame, everything was not connected too well. The suspension components were not that great. Again, it was built for the soft, supple ride, really, and not so much for cornering performance. But anyway, you know, this car drives really nice. Even though this one is extensively built, of course, it doesn't feel any different than a regular Mustang, and it feels really nice to drive. You would never know that it had a supercharger and that it was built really to you know, maximum performance levels. I mean, this thing has around 430 wheel horsepower, which, you know, by today's standards isn't a whole lot. But okay, so here we go. Let's do a oh my god. So it's definitely not slow. You had to left off there because this is a narrow road and I didn't want to, you know, wind it out with the braking traction and everything, but it's definitely fast. Oh my god. Yeah, it's definitely fast. I mean, and this thing has good wide tires on it too, and it still broke like that, so it's definitely really fast. And when I got on, I didn't like floor it the whole way there. That was just like a little bit of you know, leading into the throttle, and it's it was pretty violent, to say the least. So, you know, this thing is, I'm sure it's very, very fast, but I don't know. I don't have any performance specs on it, of course, but it's definitely very, very quick. That was pretty awesome. But, you know, anyway, like, you do that, and then you're driving around here, and now it's not any different than any other Mustang. So I mean, this build has really impressed me. You know, sometimes when you start building up a car like this, you really have to sacrifice the drivability and the usability and comfort, but this is really good. I mean, this is nothing that would let you know that it's not a stock Mustang until you get on it and you can hear that. But anyway, you know, the ride quality is good, like I said. You know, I hate to keep mentioning that, but that is the one really good thing about this car. And let me drive it around for a little bit and see if I can come up with anything else. Alright, so I've been driving the beast around for a little while now, and the only thing I can say is, of course, now I'm not going to sit here and like talk about the faults of the car, because yeah, it's a 2003 Mustang. It's not going to be like the most tight and everything, but it does feel good. And the other thing that really surprised me about this car was that this is a Whipple supercharger, right?
It's a Kenne Bell.
A Kenne Bell, and it's a 2.3 liter?
Yes.
2.3 liter supercharger. But I was really expecting like that stereotypical supercharged whine, and this is so much more of a whistle. And you know, I wish I could get it on camera, but we only got it. You can only hear it a lot when we're in between some buildings, but you know, it feels like it's a whistle, and it's not so much of a whine, which I actually really like. I really like the noise of this. It's not so whiny and loud as it is like a like noise. So it sounds really, really cool. And this car's, I don't know if you can hear it a little bit there in the video. But anyway, you know, this was a really fun car to drive. Huge thanks to Mike over here for letting me borrow this for the day. I mean, it was definitely an awesome experience, and I'm so happy to have someone that would let me do that. But anyway, so this is my review of the 2003 Mustang GT with extensive mods. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, because more videos are always on the way. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.